Welcome back to the OpenAI Associate Developer course. In this lesson, we're going to see how to write a Base64 encoded AI-generated image to a file. Having the ability to write our AI-generated images to a file is a vital capability our applications must have when working with the OpenAI's Image Generation API. Before we begin, it is important to know that for us to write the images returned from the OpenAI Image Generation API to a file, we must first set the response format configuration property to Base64 JSON. This ensures that the generated image is returned as a Base64 encoded JSON object, which is required to write the AI image to a file. With this understanding, let's jump back to our code and make the modifications in our defs file so we will get back our image in Base64 format. In our defs file, we'll first import the necessary packages and create the arrow function we'll use to write our AI-generated image to a file. For this, we'll use the FS Node package. This is the package used to write data to the file system. Next, we create the arrow function to handle the file writing operation. This arrow function will take two arguments, the Base64 image data as a string followed by the name of the file. And finally, we set the response format variable to Base64 JSON. Looking at the implementation of our arrow function, we need to first convert the Base64 encoded string into a buffer object using the buffer.from method. Next, we use the fsWriteFile method to write our image buffer to a file. We'll check for errors and log any we encounter to the console. Otherwise, we confirm the file has been written successfully. Once we have the function in our defs file, we'll integrate it into our main function. Back in our main.ts file, we'll now integrate the writeImageToFile arrow function from our defs file into our image generation workflow. Here the code update in our main file is extremely simple. All we need is to remove the console log statement, which printed the Base64 data to the console, and replace it with a call to our writeImageToFile function. Here, we pass in the Base64 data returned from the AI and a file name to write the image to, and that's it. So, in our main function, we simply call the OpenAI Image Generation API call to create images. Then, for each image generated, we check if the image is formatted as either a URL or as Base64 data. And finally, if the image is formatted as Base64 data, we use the writeImageToFile function to save the image. Otherwise, we simply log the URL to the console. In summary, the steps we took to write the Base64 image data to a file are: set the response format property, either to a URL or Base64 format. The Base64 allows us to write the image to a file, and the URL setting allows us to view and download the image from our browser. Remember, the default format is URL. Using the appropriate response format can enhance the efficiency of your application and ensure you have the right tools to manage the generated images effectively. That's all for now. In the next lesson, we'll explore more advanced configuration properties to further customize and enhance your image generation capabilities. Stay tuned, and let's continue enhancing our AI-powered applications together.